Okay, welcome everyone. Good evening. This is Pecten Toastmasters Club, and we are delighted to have you join us in today's meeting. This is our second meeting in the month of March, and the International Day of Happiness was celebrated on Saturday. So we are appropriately theming today's session being on Cloud 9. We'd immediately start off by welcoming everyone. Today in this meeting, we would be having manual speeches. We'd also have a training from a certified coach and distinguished Toastmaster. There's a quote that will speaks into the theme of today, that clouds come floating into our lives, no longer to carry rain or usher storm, but to add colors to our sunset sky. Would immediately kick off first by reading out the Toastmasters promise. Please leave your mic muted. You can read along, but let your mic be muted. As a member of Toastmasters International and my club, I promise to attend club meetings regularly to prepare all of my projects to the best of my ability, basing them on the Toastmasters education program, to prepare for and fulfill meeting assignments, to provide fellow members with helpful, constructive evaluations, to help the club maintain the positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to learn and grow, to serve my club as an officer when called upon to do so, to treat my fellow club members and our guests with respect and courtesy, to bring guests to club meetings so they can see the benefits Toastmasters membership offers, to adhere to the guidelines and rules for all Toastmasters educational and recognition programs, and to act within Toastmasters core values of integrity, respect, service, and excellence during the conduct of all Toastmasters meeting activities. In addition, I'll be taking the Pecten mission statement. Our club mission is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills, which in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth. I will now immediately call on our president, Toastmaster Ditaria Debisi, for our opening remarks. Over to you, Ma.
Thank you, my dear Vice President Education, our dear Vice President Education. Good evening, everybody. Glad to see our faces and pictures and names. There's so much on the screen, but it would be great if you are in a safe place and you can turn on your video. Let's just see our faces. I hope everyone is doing very well. I know a number of people on the call, but there are a few people I don't know. Hopefully I'll get to meet you at the end of the meeting. I see some big wigs, some Amazons on the call. Thank you for joining us. I know they know themselves. Thank you for joining us, our past presidents and new members, attending members. Thank you. So today, we have a packed agenda today, and I don't want to waste any time. We are celebrating International Day of Happiness, which was on March 20th. That was yesterday, I think, not Saturday, which was on March 20th. And the theme for this year is be mindful, be grateful, be kind. It doesn't take, there's so much going on in our world today, so much, and we have no control over those things. But what we have control over is actually the way we respond to those, external stimuli, if I might say, put it that way. We have a choice to respond positively or to respond negatively. And happiness truly is a choice. So what is the choice? What do you choose to do when you're faced or inundated with tasks that will seemingly overwhelm you if you do nothing about them? Happiness is a choice. You either choose to fold and crumble beneath the weight of whatever is coming against you, or you choose to overcome by the power of your mind and by meditating or by praying or whatever it is that works for you. It's a choice. And it doesn't have to be a big thing to do. It can just be a little thing that's taking an extra 5 minutes in the shower, or drinking a cup of coffee, or giving or receiving a hug. It may seem superficial, but it goes all the way down there to release those feel-good hormones that we know about, dopamines and the oxytocin and the endorphins. So what choose to be happy is what I just want to say to you this evening. Happiness is a choice. If you live with nothing else from this meeting today, just know that happiness is a choice, not just in Toastmasters, of course, but in our everyday lives. I'm going to hand over without wasting too much time to the Toastmaster of the day. But I will implore each and every one of us, please be a part of the meeting. Don't just be here, physically present. Also participate in the table topics, give a word of encouragement to those who are giving speeches. Listen attentively to our trainer when he comes up to give his speech. Just participate fully. And I believe that at the end of the meeting, something extra would have been added to your body of knowledge. Thank you once again for coming. Hope to see you at the end of the meeting. Please bear with us if it takes a little bit longer than usual. Our agenda is packed, but we'll get through it together. Thank you very much. And back to you, Madam VPE.
Thank you. That was our president, Toastmaster Tari, with her opening remarks. Thank you so much. We'll now immediately welcome to our lectern today, the Toastmaster of the day. Our Toastmaster of the day today is Toastmaster Josephine Agolo. She's an entrepreneur and she's currently a member of both Lentor and Victoria Bay Toastmasters clubs. She's currently on the dynamic leadership pathway. Her hobbies are shopping and listening to her favorite conscious lyrics. Her favorite quote is by renowned author Maya Angelou, and it says, "I believe that the most important single thing beyond discipline and creativity is daring to dare." Please put your hands together as we welcome our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Josephine.
Thank you very kindly. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much, Madam Vice President of Education, for the warmth of your introduction. Jolly good afternoon or good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Please, if you are a guest in the house, kindly put a G before your name. We want to see those who are guests here. We would like to welcome you in this meeting of Cloud 9. Cloud 9. Talking about Cloud 9, when I heard this theme of this meeting, it was like they just dropped it. I was like, oh, I'm going to be the TMOD, because for some time, I've been swimming on Cloud 9. What a place to be. And one place that I find myself like I'm swimming in Cloud 9 is at Toastmasters. Toastmasters is a place where you meet with great people. You see yourself growing as you keep doing the things that you ought to do. What a place to be. I find myself doing a lot of things, like my, what is it called now? My mantra says, is daring to dare. These days, I find myself daring to do things that I don't do before. And it has actually given me a sort of happiness, like the president said. And it's actually taking me to that place they call Cloud 9. Does anyone here knows where Cloud 9 is?
Please confirm if we can still hear the Toastmaster of the day.
No,
okay,
we can't.
Thanks. Okay, thanks. I would, while she gets back to her network, immediately move
to be
on.
In Cloud 9. Oh,
Toastmaster of the day, please confirm if you can hear us.
Okay, I can hear you. I'm sorry about that. I had a call. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes,
okay.
We can.
All right. The normal Toastmasters meeting has 3 aspects. Wow. The first aspect, the first segment of the meeting is the table topics segment, which is also known as an impromptu speaking segment. The second segment is the prepared speech segment, where the last segment is the evaluation segment. But for today, we also have a typical kind of training. Man, I can't wait. That training is going to blow your mind. I can't wait. Actually, the second reason I came for that meeting is because of that training. I can't wait. There's a lot to take home today. Right about now, I am in cloud 9, and it's making me to just, I'm stepping on so many things. My head is full. Like I want to explode. I can see Toastmaster S is smiling. So the next person I would like to bring to the table right now is our general evaluator. Sorry, I did not introduce myself. The Toastmaster of the day is the one that ensures that the meeting segue from one segment of the meeting to the other smoothly. And I will not be doing this alone. We are two on this ship. And the next person is the general evaluator. She will be bringing in what I call the quality control team to work with to ensure that we get the best out of this meeting. She's a beautiful lady, an elegant one at that. She's a biomedical scientist and a data analyst, the Vice President Education membership of Pecten Toastmasters Club. And funny enough, she's on the same pathway with me, dynamic leadership. Now I see why we connected in some kind of way. Our office is making money, traveling, spending time with family, watching interesting shows. And the favorite quote is, whether you think you can or you can't, you are right. This is a quote by Tom Ford. If your hands are not too busy, if your hands are busy, use the emoticon. I say, welcome on stage, Toastmaster James Ekwuchi.
Okay.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests.
Good
Thank
evening,
you,
G.
Toastmaster Essie. I see that you are about to save the day. Thank you. Apologies, I might not be able to turn on my camera at this time, but I promise you that I will turn it on during the course of the meeting. I'll go straight ahead to introduce the role players. For the sake of time, we will not do the traditional intro of individual role players. We'll just call them, I'll just call them, and they'll come tell us what they'll be doing today in their various roles. I love that I have a team of very competent, very interesting, intriguing people today in my team. First would be the grammarian. I'd like to call this person first because we want to get into the word of the day, sharp. I want to even use it and let it be counted for me before we continue the meeting. So today, the grammarian would be Toastmaster Intia Nsika Kabasi, someone that I'm particularly happy to have on this call because we have missed him as a club. Toastmaster Intia, please come on the virtual lectern and tell us what you'll be doing today as the grammarian. Over to you.
Thank you so very much, General Evaluator, and good evening, Toastmasters and guests. As the grammarian for today, my job is twofold. The first one is to go on and introduce the word of the day. And then the second one is to ensure that I note very, very impressive use of grammar throughout the meeting, and also note perhaps not so impressive pieces of grammar that are used in the course of the meeting. The word of the day is exhilarating. And it's a word I chose particularly when I had read the theme, the Cloud 9 theme of the meeting. And exhilarating simply means to cause strong feelings of excitement or happiness. And the few examples that they're listed there, the helicopter ride was exhilarating. Last month's meeting, no, not last month's meeting, this meeting will be exhilarating. And there are synonyms like thrilling, breathtaking, intoxicating, exciting, invigorating, and the like are synonyms of exhilarating. And antonyms like melancholy and things like that. You don't want to go there at all. So let this meeting be exhilarating. Let us keep using the word of the day. Let us use it the rest of the week, the rest of the month, the rest of the year. Let it be part of our lexicon. Back to you, General Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you so much, grammarian. I did not catch the exhilarating tone of your voice, but I'm guessing that it will come as the meeting goes on. Thank you for introducing the word of the day, and I will be sure to use it as many times as I can. I will try to make sure that I use it more times than just Pastor Essay, because she always wins it. Not today. I'm going to be very competitive today. Okay, in an exhilarating manner, I'd love to introduce the accountant of today's meeting. Today we'll be having the accountant who would be none other than Toastmaster Abiodun. So Abiodun, please come on the virtual lectern and tell us what you'll be doing today. And please, would love for your tone to be more exhilarating. Over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry, general evaluator, sorry. As the accountant for the day, I will be counting the use of pillar words like, like, and then at the end of the day, when I'm called by the general evaluator, I'll be giving my reports. Thank you, and back to you, general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Biodun. It seems our GE is having a bit of glitch. I would immediately introduce the timer role, which I would be playing. My role as a timer is to ensure we keep to the boundaries of set time for today's meeting. As the timer, I would be using visual cue cards to let us know when your speech or your talking time is rounding up. When your speech is qualified, I would flash the green card, which means you are within time. If it is for those giving the icebreaker speech, at the 4-minute mark, you would see this green card. If it's for those who will be participating in the table topic session, at the 1-minute mark, you would see this green card. Next would be the yellow card, which will come up as a way to alert you to start rounding up on your speech. At the 1 minute, 30 seconds mark for everyone participating during the table topic session, you would see this card. And then at the 2-minute mark, you would see the red card. The red card does not mean you should abruptly end your speech. In as much as it might give an exhilarating feeling, we would recommend that it just gives you time to graciously stop speaking and round off quickly. In addition, for those giving the manual speeches, at the once you have a 30 seconds grace period, you would also see this card. I would also be using it to time our evaluators and all sessions of this meeting. Thank you, and back to you, our general evaluator.
Thank you so much,
Toastmaster.
Okay. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you so much for stepping in. Well, when you did. The next person I'll be introducing would be the table topics master, who would be Toastmaster Uche. The table topics segment will come later on, but I'd just love for him to come here and tell us what he will be doing as a table topics master today. Toastmaster Uche, over to you.
All right, thank you so much, General Evaluator. I would be the table topics evaluator for today, as she has mentioned, and I'll be evaluating the table topics sessions where you are expected to speak off the cuff and unprepared. I'll be looking and listening and feeling, in fact, to see how you navigate the topics that come your way. I'm looking forward to an exhilarating table topic session. Over to you, General Evaluator.
My network today is doing the most. All right, so before I obstruct the flow of this meeting, I'll just love to hand the control back to the Toastmaster of the day. I, as the general evaluator, will be evaluating everything that happened before the meeting, during the meeting, and after the meeting is over. I'll come back at the end to introduce the tag team or my team of role players and also give the general evaluation. Looking forward to an exhilarating meeting. Looking forward to having so much fun and looking forward to leaving people more excited than they were when they first joined the meeting. Thank you, and it's back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, our exhilarating general evaluator. Thank you to you and to your team for the exhilarating explanation of your role. Very well done. I'm already in an exhilarating mood. The cloud nine, so to say. Yes, we quickly move to our first segment of today's meeting, which is the table topics segment. This is where Toastmasters, and especially guests are given the opportunity to speak of the curve in an exhilarating manner. And the person that will be taking up this session is our exhilarating table topic master. Oh, it's changed. All right. Toastmaster, the exhilarating table topic master, Toastmaster Uche. The virtual space is yours.
Okay, I thought I was going to be the table topics evaluator. Toastmaster, I say, can you help me? Can you hear me anyways?
Yes, we can. Let me serve in as the table topics master. Please, do we have volunteers? You can either indicate by raising up your hand or sharing on the chat box. Let's scroll through. Okay, I see Toastmaster Wede. Toastmaster Wede, please go. You have between questions 1 to 8. Please pick a number.
Question
Hello,
1 to
Toastmaster
8.
Wede.
Yes, I can hear
Yes.
you. Apology. Question 1 to 8. Let me take question 1.
Question 1. Okay, let's see. Okay, question 1. What is the cheapest way to make you happy? What is the cheapest way to make you happy?
What is the cheapest way to make me happy? Yeah, so I think that good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. The cheapest way to make me happy. Happiness is something that I would say it's most times you look for happiness in the grandiose things, the big things in quotes. But the fact is, it is the little things that actually makes us truly happy. Things like being around family, being with friends, having a good time. So currently I am away in Delta State with family. And just this morning I woke up and one of my nieces that is around, she came to my room and we're just having like a chat. She's barely 2 years. We're just having the little children chat, kind of, I'll call it that. It was a good time because though what she was doing was not really, it was just little things like Uncle Weather saying stuff and just trying to be nice, playing around. But for me, it was a time of deep reflection because I just realized that most times we sit down looking out for the big things that should make us happy. Whereas it's these little things that like having this kind of interactions. At the end of the day, I realized that after that time with her in the morning, I felt so better. I felt better and I felt happy in quotes because it was just fun seeing her do so many things that children do. So I would say for me, what's the things that I would say make me happy or that can make me happy anytime are not necessarily the big things in quotes, but the little things. And yes, that'll be it for me. Over to you, topic master.
Sorry, apologies, I was muted. Well done, Toastmaster. We're there, and that's so nice. That is definitely one way to bond and ensure that you would stay connected or find happiness. I like that that is the cheapest way or the littlest thing that can make you happy. Thanks for sharing. I see Toastmaster Francis' hand up. Toastmaster Francis, we have between questions 2 to 8. Please pick a number.
Number 7.
Question number 7. Okay. Ghostos, what is the most expensive way to make you happy? The most expensive way to make you happy.
Thank you, Madam Table Topic Master. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. What is the most expensive way to make me happy? This is the first time I'm ever thinking if there is actually a way for someone or a team to make me happy. But since you asked, I would say the most expensive way to make me happy is for me to really engage with people and have difficult conversations, vulnerable conversations, where we just get to open our hearts, get to pour, the other person gets to listen, or the person gets to pour, and I gets to listen. It's that actually is one of the most expensive ways to make me happy, because I realize that human beings will find it difficult to talk. So whenever I see somebody who loves to express herself or himself to those that they are comfortable with, it makes me happy, it makes me fulfilled. But I would like to say I have another thing that makes me happy, and that is if somebody can just send me a DM requesting that he or she wants to buy my book. I will be so happy. I will be so happy. So, on a table topic master, fellow Toastmasters and guests, that is it for me. That is the best, most expensive way to make me happy. Is it really expensive? Well, I will leave you to judge that. Back to you, Madam Table Topic Master.
Well, thank you so much, Toastmaster Francis, for giving us that very exhilarating, altruistic reply. Thank you for deciding that the most expensive way to make you happy is when you're able to express vulnerable conversations with people. This is one of my favorite things about table topics, because you see people who are definitely much more better than you in the choices they make. Thank you for sharing with us. And next volunteer, I see Toastmaster Atta Ekpunse. Apologies if I mispronounce your name. Please confirm if you're able to participate in the table topic session.
Yes, I can participate. My name is Ekwuchi.
Ekpunse. Okay. Thanks for joining. And we have we have questions 2 to 8, although 7 has been taken.
Okay, I'll do 4. Or should I do 5?
Question number
5, yes.
Okay. Question number 5 goes to us. Okay. If you had to make Nigerians happy today, what would you do? The ball is in your court.
Wow.
If you had powers, all the powers to make Nigerians happy today, what would you do? Thank you.
Okay, if I have the power to make Nigerians happy today, what will I do? That's a very tricky question, because I know that for most people right now, most people are not celebrating, probably because we don't have money, right? And if I have the power to make Nigerians happy right now, I will plant the tree and make sure that the only thing growing on that tree is money, cash, raw cash, because everybody is looking for cash right now. And I know that if every Nigerian has an opportunity to lay hands on cash, the happiness will be exhilarating. So yes, I want to plant trees, beautiful trees everywhere across Nigeria, and make sure that money is growing on it. And I want to make sure that it is only 1,000 naira currency, not the 500 or 200 or 300, like 1,000. I can see almost everybody laughing, because yes, it is important for us to have money. So yeah, plant trees and let money grow on the streets for everybody. Everybody will be happy. I will be happy. You will be happy. The Toastmaster of the day will be happy. Everybody will be happy. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much. And yes, I have to agree with that response, the money of trees. In fact, I was already happy. Thank you for already making me feel on cloud nine, imagining a world, that exhilarating world where money would grow on trees. Please, in case you end up having a plug, I live in a very fertile area, so we have enough places to plant those trees. I hope it happens someday. And as someone has shared on the chat box, yes, especially if it's new notes and specifically 1,000 naira mint. Thank you so much to everyone who has participated in our table topic session today. I have loved our responses. I love the fact that we all volunteered. Well done to Toastmaster Wede, who told us that the cheapest and simplest way to make him happy is just connecting with his family member, a young family member. Toastmaster Francis, who told us that it's in expressing vulnerable conversations that he thinks is the highest way to make him happy. And Toastmaster Ata, who has shared with us that planting planting trees that give off 1,000 naira mint new currency notes in Nigeria is the fastest way to make most Nigerians happy. Thank you to everyone who has participated in today's table topic session. I will now hand over back to our Toastmaster of the day. Over to you, our TMOD.
Thank you so much, Madam Table Topic Master, for that exhilarating section. And thank you to all of our respondents for that exhilarating responses. You shared exhilarating experiences and moments. And I feel I'm in cloud nine. Who else is with me on this cloud nine? Please, if you are not with me, quickly join because you're missing out. Yes, thank you so much. Now we segue to our training. I'm very sure it's going to be an exhilarating training session. Effective meetings. Like yesterday, I spoke about effective meetings, what it is to have quality meetings, and what quality meetings actually do, especially to your guest members. It actually helps them to want to join because quality actually stimulates interest in people. And so we will be having a trainer, a distinguished Toastmaster. He's a life coach and a trainer. His pathway is an effective coaching pathway. He's a member of OES Club. He's a club growth director for Division K. His hobbies are walking, running, watching tennis, and football. His favorite quote is, "The heights by great men reached and kept were not attained by soaring flight." I totally agree. But they, while their company slept, were toiling upward in the night. These are words from Henry Wordsworth Longfellow. Please, if your hands are not too busy, and if they are busy, join with me as a welcome on stage for this training session, DTM David Dokun.
Oh, wow. That's so much energy. You are not matching the exhilarating energy of our Toastmaster of the day. I thought the chat room would be on fire. I don't see anything. Is it my connection? Is it my eyes? Or should I say like the saying, local balance, say you dey whine me, as in I'm not feeling the energy. What's going on? All right, everyone, please let's feel that energy come alive if you can, if you really can. Thank you, Uche. Thank you. I see those comments now. I made a soft request to you, our host. Thank you. I've seen you granted the request. Absolutely fantastic. It's a great moment to be here to share with you today a few tips that can help you translate your Uche, I'll act as if I didn't see your comment. I know it's I don't know what to say to that, but I don't lose elections. Just kidding. Right. It's really a great opportunity for you to learn, to leave here with some tangible, timeless tips that can help you go out there and shine, go out there and become the best that you can. And of course, that's talking about, planning and hosting effective meetings. I'll do my best to swing through the chat box now and again, because that's a lot of what we'll be doing today. I see all your comments. Yeah, that's great. It will be difficult for me to kick off without acknowledging someone here who I have seen. Where is he? Yeah, who has seen me and who have seen over the years, practice what it takes to be a true Toastmaster. And that's the person of our grammarian for today. Dr. Intia, it's great to see you here. I'm delighted. I'm nervous. These are the people that taught me how to speak. They say, David, move to the left. Don't do that. Come on. Why are you talking like that? So it's really beautiful to see Dr. Intia here today. Please join me, celebrate Dr. Intia. Great gentleman, is our grammarian for today. And I also appreciate the leadership of this club, the immediate past president, the current executives. What we do here is change, applying the truth that we can change. So if you don't change, nothing will change. So are you willing to change? And before I go all philosophical on you, I'll try to stay in step with my assignment, which is to talk about effective meetings. I have a few minutes to share. What would help us make this meeting beautiful will be your contribution. I already see how much you're chatting and buzzing. That is the spirit. I want you to keep that up all through so we can have the most. So what exactly would we do over the next couple of minutes? We'll talk about effective meetings under two broad headers. First one is what's wrong with meetings. Second one is meeting best practices. Objectives, identify and develop. Identify what? Today, we'll identify barriers and best practices to having effective meetings and develop strategies to conduct effective meetings, all within the little time that Toastmaster essay I'm not throwing down that the boss has given me today. Oh, did I throw you under the bus? No, I don't think I did. Because I'm exhilarated to be here, right? We're all on cloud 9. And the chat room is, buzzing. Some of the comments in the chat room, I'll go back and read when I have a clear head. But hey, stay with me because I need your comments, your contributions, your thoughts, your concerns as well. Comment, contribute, share your concerns. Let's know how you feel about meetings. Before you get tunnel visioned into thinking, hey, these Toastmasters have come again, just in case you're not a Toastmaster yet, or let's even say you're a Toastmaster, but you do a lot of meetings outside of Toastmasters. This is beyond Toastmasters meetings, right? It's more about what you do in your professional space as well. Ladies and gentlemen, in the same exhilarating manner with which you started this meeting, can you share with us your thoughts on what's wrong with meetings? So, Master Felicia, I know that you're catching all those vibes. It's like, I want to read your comments. What's wrong with meetings? What do you find to be a recurrent decimal when it comes to meetings that go wrong or meetings that are not effective? What's that scarlet thread that runs through all those meetings? Number one, Jibike Oshodi. Hey, Jibike, it's great to see you. They are too long and unfocused. Can you make that bold in caps and literally blow it up? Thank you for that. I'd like to read more and more because this will be about your contributions first before I share the few notes that Toastmasters International has asked me to share with you. So, hey, where are those comments? Tell me, I'm sure you've been in some meetings where you're like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, no. This is not what I want. Where are your comments? I want to hear from you. Jibike has said they're too long and unfocused. What else? Do you agree with her? Thank you, Toastmaster Felicia. No clear purpose. Oh my goodness, I love that comment, Samuel Gregory. People have meetings about how they want to have a meeting. Boom. Lack of preparedness. Thank you, Grace Peter. Great to see you here. General Evaluator Ekwuchi says, people have done what? I'm going to read this. I've lost sight of the value that meetings bring to them. Dr. Intia, thank you. Poorly organized. Terry Davis, what are the effective meetings anyway? It might mean different things to different people. Yep, I agree with you. Toastmaster pollution is unnecessary and it's a tick box exercise. 71%. Oh, wow. I love, you see, this is an exhilarating group of people here just sharing and dropping those gems. Trust me, there's almost nothing you'll read in that chat box that's not on my slide. So it's good to pay attention and create that dump consistently. I know that I have, please, host, check backend with me, send me a DM to let me know. I know that I have just a few minutes, so I'm trying to stay on time. Jibike says they should do meetings standing up. Right. Ekwuchi, I know that's your 71%. We have to talk about it later. Where you got about the 1 and the 70, do you have some data pool? I thought you'd say 71.85. That would be more accurate, All right. Can we have one more comment before I share with you my thoughts here? 71.333, exactly. Madam Timer, please check with me back end so I know how many minutes I have left here. Oh yes, I also noticed that we have the area director here. It's not in my character not to recognize constituted authority. So please, Toastmaster Ofoma, it's great to see you here as well. Great. GBK is playing full out here. If I have candies, I already have people I'm going to share with. The most exhilarated folks today are going to get candies. And maybe that money tree that we heard about in the table topic session, just maybe I have some seeds that I can share. So you have to play full out. All right, great. I'm checking my time. They're there to satisfy egos. Great. I love all your commentary and you will join me to solve these problems in a little bit. Let me share with you some of the candies, some of the thoughts that we have on this slide, not too different from most of the things you've said. We call them 7 shortcomings of meetings. Number one, people don't take meetings seriously. There's this popular maxim that when the purpose of a thing is not known, can someone please complete it for me in the chat box? When the purpose of a thing is not known, fastest fingers first.
Misuse or abuse is inevitable.
Excelente. Thank you. Right. Abuse is inevitable. Thank you. Okay, so the reason I find that people, and let's do a pulse check here. Everybody, now this one is going to, depending on which side of the divide you fall into, this next question might not catch you, but I'm willing to wager that it will catch many people. You have an appointment tomorrow, a meeting that will, the primary agenda of that meeting is to discuss how we can issue you a contract for something as small as 150 million naira. Will you take that meeting seriously? If you take it seriously, please type a 5. I know it's not much money. A lot of people here are big people, but at least for those that are not, that are still aspiring, would you take that meeting seriously? Just type a 5. I want to know there are over 24 people here. I want to know how many people will be exhilarated about that kind of meeting. Type of 5, let me see. Ekwuchi's 5 is actually in the zillions. I don't know how many 5s that is. Oh, okay. So I see a couple of 5s. So a lot of people here would actually take it seriously. When you don't even know why that meeting has been set up, you're most likely going to take it in a very casual way. You won't be exhilarated about it. And I hope that the grammarian has lost count of my exhilarated use of the word exhilarating. Right, meetings are too long. That's the thing. Let's see how many people know how to use the reaction buttons. If you are not a fan of long meetings? Raise your hand using the reaction buttons. Let me see how many hands will go up. Not a fan of long meetings. Let me see how many hands will go up. I see hands. Some people are raising 2 hands. How do you do that? I didn't know you could do that with Zoom. So people are raising 2 hands on Zoom. How did you do that? Oh my goodness. All right. People in this room are not fans of long meetings. That's why I'm going to cut this short. I'll make this sweet short sharp. People wander off topic. Another shortcoming. I could go on, but we have 7 to share with you. It's not enough for me to tell you the problems. And of course, for those of you looking at the screen, hopefully everyone can see the screen. You can see, people wandering off topic. Nothing happens once the meeting ends. People don't tell the truth. Critical decisions are postponed. Same mistakes being made over and over, and the meetings don't get any better. It's great to identify all these problems, right? In a sense, we like that. Okay, yes, now we know what the issues are, right? We know what the problem is. Can we do one better beyond knowing what the Jibike is even raising her feet? Beyond knowing what the problems are, for me, this is the crux of the crucible. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where we address what effective meetings are together. We've talked about the 7 shortcomings of meetings, which I don't know how many of you would remember, but it's similar to everything you've talked about. We'll come back to it at the end. How do we segue from these shortcomings to meeting best practices? This is where you come in. So for all the pain that you've experienced in meetings, it's almost in plain sight for you to see. If this is something you don't want, what should you do? I'm looking at the comment section now and counting down as we begin to get to this is the second half of this training session. We want to know, what should we do? In your experience, for those of you who have seen meetings that were just sweet, that ticked all your boxes, what did those meetings have? What made those meetings tick your box? I'd like if you can share with us 1 or 2 things. If you think about those shortcomings and you juxtapose them with things that you've seen work or that you would like to see work, what are those solutions? Who's going to go first? You see, it's easy to identify the problem, so let's do this together. Everyone comes ready to contribute. Thank you, Toastmaster Tagore. Meetings with a twist to avoid monotony and boredom. I like that. Thank you, Ekwuchi. I love it. I mean, I'm going back to Pecten quite a lot. Is this how your club buzzes every time? Toastmaster essay. I love it anyway. Let's get it going. There's so much exhilarating comments. I can even feel it. It's so palpable. Can we get more suggestions? How can we have better meetings? Pre-meeting was well done. Thank you, Toastmaster Felicia. Meeting with originality and humor. Wow, look at that. Thank you. I see your comments, Toastmaster essay. Meeting with originality and humor. I love humor is such a thing. Again, we must be mindful. Today's not the day to address how humor can go wrong, but again, it does more good than bad if you use it well. So thank you for that, Francis, Toastmaster Francis. Do we have guests here? Our guests contributing? Toastmaster Felicia says, respect for people's time. Literally, time is life. You cannot manage time. You cannot manage your life. Let me say that again in case you want to tell one friend of yours after this meeting. If you cannot manage your time, you cannot manage your life. It goes without saying that meetings have to keep to time. Thank you, Toastmaster Felicia. It's a pet peeve for me. I cannot stand it. Uche says meeting ends at the time was planned to. Exactly, so relating to time as well. We could literally go on and on and on. Can we take 2 more comments? I want to tie this together now. 2 more comments. It comes to a conclusion with action. Toastmaster Jibike, that's 3 candies for you. I'll make sure that they have 0 calories, if that's possible. So that's an idea, calorie-less candies. I'm sure they exist. Oh my, lovely. These are all best practices, and it will shock you to know that I don't have any solution for you other than the ones that you've identified. If you plan your meetings with everything that you identified here, you are literally paving the path to the prize of an effective meeting. You want to have effective meetings, go through the chat box. How much pre-planning has been done? Do people have an agenda ahead of time for them to be exhilarated about the meeting? Do they know exactly what they will be coming there to discuss? And when you get there, are you prompt? Do you know how to interject when people are going off topic? Now go back to all those shortcomings that we spoke about earlier, and then start to think about the opposites of each of those shortcomings. For those who missed it, I'll go back there so you can do a screen grab. Have someone be responsible for timing. Like today's meeting, I can promise you that I've received 75 messages from the timer in the space of 20 minutes. It's unbelievable. I'll probably dream about the timer today. Ensure that you keep, as the facilitator, if you are the facilitator, keep bringing people back on the topic. Toastmaster Jibike already said, what's the action plan? When the meeting ends, how do we come in? How do we go ahead after that? About people not telling the truth, not much you can do about that. But again, it's ensuring that we are mindful of the pre-planning that goes with it. In view of everything we've said now, I'd like to ask you, the next time you're planning a meeting or hosting a meeting, what one thing would you have in mind? Of course, knowing that this is a refresher, none of these things we said are from outer space. You all know what these things are. It's being conscious enough to implement them so you don't lose the opportunity to have an exhilarating meeting with people that are enthusiastic and are ready to contribute to the meeting. So tell me. Moyede says effective planning. Ekwuchi says prepare adequately. Where says set an agenda. Can I get one more person? Can I get one more person? One more person? Going once, going twice. One more comment. What else would you do? Now that you've had this conversation with this exhilarating group of people, listening to contributions, comments, concerns about meetings, how do we move from that point? Thank you, Toastmaster Tagore. Start plans early. Ensure their objectives and meet them. Exactly. Thank you, Dr. Inte. Clear objectives and meet them. I wish I had more time, but I'm grateful that the hosts stretched the session a little bit just to ensure that each and every one of you enjoyed yourselves and learned something. Thank you, Toastmaster Francis, Toastmaster Grace, the Toastmaster of the day, Josephine, Ekwuchi, Jibike Tosin, Uche, Kaine, Diete-Spiff, Abiodun, Dr. Inte Tagore, Samuel. There's somebody called me on the call, whoever that is. I said Obioma, Idore said Ufoma, Angelica J, Toastmaster Felicia Kajero, Adebola, and Moide. It's been a pleasure being here today to share with you. I hope that next time you have a meeting, it's exhilarating, it's effective, and it's enjoyable. Back to you now, the Toastmaster of the day.
What a way to take us on cloud 9 of how to go about effective meeting. Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster David Dokun, the first person that I heard the word from, palpable. And since then, I'll be using the word palpable. I just love the way it comes out of his mouth. Palpable. But unfortunately, today's word of the day is exhilarating. Thank you for that exhilarating section. We have learned a lot of how best to conduct very good meeting, very quality meeting. And I, for one, I'm a fan of time. If your meeting is starting by 4:50 and at 4:30 you've not started, please don't call me next time. I wouldn't come. Thank you so much. Right about now, we move to the next segment of our meeting. I've been feeling like I'm in cloud 9. I'm just hoping that this feeling will not leave me so soon. Yes, the manual switches, the educational segment of our meeting. This is where Toastmasters, having prepared based on what their pathway demands, they come here to give us exhilarating speeches where we'll learn, unlearn, and relearn in an exhilarating manner. Yes, our first speaker for today is Toastmaster Jibike Oshodi. But before I will bring her to the spotlight, I would like to introduce to us our evaluator who will be giving us the rationale behind Toastmaster Jibike's speech. And the person is Toastmaster Tosin Olorunleke. The virtual spot is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Today, we have a member delivering her icebreaker. We usually love to celebrate people completing their parts, but something just as beautiful is people starting their journey as well. And today, we are all privileged to watch Toastmaster Jibike do just that. The purpose of today's speech is very simple. We simply want to meet Toastmaster Jibike, and we want to see what she has in store for us. She has a very interesting title. I'm tempted to actually read out the title, but I don't want to bite my tongue. I am waiting to see what language this speech is going to be delivered in. But if you have seen the agenda already, I'm sure you're just anticipating this speech as much as I am. And I'm pretty sure Toastmaster Jibike is going to blow us away. On that note, I'd like to hand the virtual podium back to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Josephine.
Thank you so much, our exhilarating evaluator, Toastmaster Tosin. Why did you have to run away from the speech title? I was going to grab it from your mouth. I was waiting. What is this? What an exhilarating speech title. Toastmaster Jibike Oshodi, please come to the spotlight and blow us away with your speech. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your introduction. Good evening, everybody. The title of my speech is Le bonheur, c'est une fille délicate. That means in French that happiness is a delicate flower. Of course, I love nature and I've taken time to do my speech outside. Thank you very much. I'd like us all to put in the chat box what we think happiness is. What we think happiness, what is happiness to you? Happiness has so many definitions. As I said before, my name is Toastmaster Jibike. I'm Black, I'm a woman, I'm Nigerian, I'm a lawyer, I'm a mother, I'm a cook, I'm a traveler, and I like music. So many other things. I'm seeing on the chat box, somebody said happiness is freedom. Happiness is a sense of contentment. And it probably doesn't depend on where you are. We have the jackpot syndrome. But I would like to tell you that, interesting enough, I looked up the most countries that have the most happiness. And interesting enough, it's not Germany, it's not USA, it's not Saudi Arabia. They have the most billionaires, the most wealth per capita, but the most happy countries are places like Finland, Sweden, Norway, and the Netherlands. Nigeria, unfortunately, we know the way Nigeria has been. And since 2017, Nigeria has been dropping in the index of happiness. In fact, in 2017, it was number 95. And today, I think it's actually number 118. So what is happiness? This is an icebreaker, and I'm meant to tell you a bit about myself. It has to be an exhilarating speech. So happiness is a sense of contentment. To me, it's a sense of fulfillment. It's a joy which comes occasionally, but sometimes you feel you're so exhilarated that you're so happy. Then it comes to joy. But day by day, we have to feel a sense of contentment to be happy. Now, what does it take to be happy? I remember I had a very happy childhood. In fact, I don't think I could have wanted for anything. And I encourage people to make their children very happy. A happy child will become a happy adult. And as I said in my saying, happiness is like a delicate flower. Flowers wither and they bloom and they grow again. So that makes you know that you can always grow your own happiness. Happiness is the joy that comes within. And as I said, you should know that Saudi Arabia, America, very wealthy countries, they're not necessarily the most happiest. As Elvis Presley said, when things go bad, don't go bad with them. So I'd like to tell you a few stories about myself, which show times which I knew I was so happy. As I said, I don't think I wanted for anything as a child. That in itself has its own dangers because you think life is so rosy. I traveled, I was able to school abroad because my parents were in a certain income bracket. But I always thought everybody was in that income bracket until I became an adult. Then I had to pay my own bills. As I said, happiness is a flower. If you have children, make sure they have a happy childhood. It's very important. As I said, a happy child becomes a happy adult. So I remember when I was young, I think I was abroad, and I got into a snow fight with somebody. I think we were living in Canada. And I think the boy now called me the N-word. And I was so upset. I thought, I never knew I was black. I never saw the color, but he saw the color. And he kept on saying, nigga, nigga. And I thought, what's this? So then the first time I came to Nigeria, I remember seeing Black people everywhere. And that gave me a sense of joy. I cannot tell you how happy I am to see Black people everywhere. I pronounce my name, you could pronounce my name. That gives me a sense of joy, a sense of fulfillment, a sense of belonging. So happiness too can be a sense of belonging. Then back to university. In university, I think I had such a good time. I had such good friends from all over the world, Malaysia, some were British, some were Indian British, some were Nigerian. I remember when I turned 50, which was some years ago, I was dreading my 50th birthday, so I ran away. And my friends that I hadn't seen for like 25 years, 30, they had a small reception for me. And that I was so happy that day. First of all, that I had kept the friendship and they thought me worthy to honor me 25 years later. That day, I had such a sense of joy. So back to today, when things go wrong, don't go with them. Remember, happiness is like a flower. Grow your own happiness. What makes you happy might not make me happy. I love my garden. I started it during COVID, and I'm so happy that at least it's lasted this time of Icebreaker. So remember, when things go bad, don't go with them. Happiness is in your hands. Do not compare. I hope you've had an exhilarating time, and in your own way, you'll be happy. Nature makes me happy. Thank you very much for listening to me. And remember, happiness is like a delicate flower. You can grow it yourself. Because what makes you happy as a child might not make you happy as an adult. And remember, don't compare. Everybody's journey is different. Thank you very much for listening to me. I hope you've been exhilarated. I hope you've been inspired. I started my garden during COVID and it makes me very happy. In fact, my daughter says it's the only thing I treasure more than her. Thank God she knows she's treasured. Thank God she's happy. Thank you very much for listening to me today. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Jibike, for that very exhilarating speech. You just kept me on cloud 9 while you were speaking. Thank you so much for taking us through the journey of how happiness is a delicate flower. I loved your backgrounds. Very, very, very exhilarating. Thank you so, so much. Yes, I would like us to share some love notes with Toastmaster Jibike. Let her feel this cloud 9 for giving us such an amazing icebreaker speech. She shattered the ice in an exhilarating manner. Thank you. I can see the love notes popping up. Thank you so much. Our second speaker for today is Toastmaster Ekwuchi James. And before I bring her to the spotlight, I would like to introduce to us our evaluator to demystify the mystery behind this speech. It's also an icebreaker speech. Wow. Our evaluator is Toastmaster Wede. Toastmaster Wede, please kindly share with us the rationale behind the speech. Thank you.
Good evening, Toastmasters and our dear guests. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So Toastmaster Ekwuchi will be speaking from the persuasive influence pathway, and she'll be giving a icebreaker speech. Like Toastmaster Totin had said, the purpose of the icebreaker speech is to introduce yourself to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. We all know that Toastmaster Ekwuchi James is a veteran speaker, and this is her second pathway. So she's like one of the bosses. So, but we do not expect anything less today. From the title, you would know that you are going to be expecting something exhilarating. Who's your guy? So I trust that Toastmaster Ekwuchi James will do justice to her icebreaker today as she starts another journey of another pathway. Thank you, and over to you, the Toastmaster of the day.
Many thanks to you, Toastmaster Wede, for that exhilarating demystification of Toastmasters Ekwuchi's speech. Toastmaster Ekwuchi James, who is your guy? Who is your guy, Toastmaster Ekwuchi James?
Thank you so much, the Toastmaster of the day. Please confirm that you can hear me and see me clearly. I'm trying to test out this standing thing. Great. As I scan the room, I see familiar faces, familiar names, people that I have met in one way or the other at some point or the other, no matter how short the time is. Even some, I dare say, are my friends, people that would say, I'm your guy, right? Okay, so if you offered $1 million to say something about me, to answer the question, Ekwuchi, that is your guy. Who is your guy? Would you be smiling to the bank or not? Relax. You'll know after this speech. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Welcome to Ekwuchi 101. I will be your lecturer today, teaching you a thing or two about myself. Take out your paper and your pen. Take notes, pay attention. It might be a test after this class. You can never tell. And it will make up a very, very, very good part of your CGPA. Like every other course, we start from the introduction, the very beginning. Ekwuchi was born on the 5th of October, let's leave that out. Some year like that. She was born into a family of 6, 2 parents, 4 kids. Guess what? She was born 10 years after the last child. Some might say it was an accident. Some might say that it was a product of hanky-panky. I don't know, but we all know that sometimes accidents become the best experiences. If you ask my parents, they have that to say. Growing up, my parents made sure that education was the top on their list, priority. They made sure they gave us the best education, took us to the best schools. So it wasn't different with me. I went to one of the top schools in Port Harcourt, Staff School Abuloma for the LGGC girls. I also went to Jester Comprehensive Secondary School, the very famous one. Midway secondary school, something tragic happened. I had a fatal accident that changed the course of my life. I missed more than a year of school, came back to a world of bullying and a world of name calling. My world had shattered. I was called Scarface. I was called all sorts of things. But it didn't deter me because I made the determination, or I made the resolve to keep pushing. Fast forward to after secondary school, I went ahead to do A-levels, which would then make me segue into university. From the beginning of time, I've always been the smart kid. From primary school, I always went to all of the competitions, and in secondary school, the Olympiads, cowbell mat, all of that. I was the star girl. So it was little wonder that when it was time to do a scholarship exam for the state, to pick just a couple of students to travel abroad to do very technical courses, I was picked out of numerous people. This happened, and then I went ahead to study medicine in Europe. Another tragedy struck. Come to me later for that story. But then I'd like to remind you that even if happiness is forgotten for a little bit, it always comes back. It was Jack Pervert that said that. So all of these experiences did not deter me still. I came back to Nigeria and I picked my life up. Went to university again, and then ended up graduating with good grades. After that happened, I said to myself, what am I going to do with my life? I started to wonder, who am I outside of my intelligence and just brain smartness? What else can I do to bring value to people? And then I thought about it. You like to talk. You've always been talking. You used to talk to chairs as a child. And mom told me that I would stack a group of chairs in front of me, hold the cane and talk to them like they were my students. So I always knew that it was in me. I decided that I was going to go full-blown into learning how to speak, public speaking, talk to anybody, be a therapist, just look for people that have problems and have them come to you and talk to you. So I put out an ad for people to come to me to speak about problems. Before I did that, I started with my friends. I would go and say, oh, are you okay? Check in on them. Is there something I can help you do? So I was tagged the community therapists. Don't quote me anywhere, I don't have license. But I was helping them out and also making sure that they felt better afterwards. I'm a go-getter. I'm someone that loves people. I'm someone that takes my relationships very seriously. Anyone that knows me knows this. I do not mess with my relationships. I love to have a good time. I'm not all work and school and bookworm. I also love to have a good time. I love to dance. I might even say that I'm kind of a good dancer. Mm-hmm. If you bring me close to Pokoli, though, I don't know how it's going to be, but I can tell you that I dance. I love to sing as well. I am a free bird. I'm someone that people call the life of the party. Wherever you see me, you are sure to see happiness. Wherever you see me, you are sure to have a trail of exhilaration coming right behind me. Has life thrown me lemons? Of course, so many lemons. I could have started a lemon farm. But here I am today, making sure that I turn all of those lemons into different things. Lemon juice, lemon cake, lemonade, lemon pie. I have a house of lemon products. And this is not because I'm Superwoman, but because I have made sure that I've seen life from the lens of encouragement and optimism and not from the lens of pessimism. With God on my side, I know that I can do anything. Oh yes, I am a firm believer in God. I do not play with that relationship. That is my most important relationship. So if you were asked now, let's go back to the beginning. Who is your guy? How many of you will be smiling to the bank? And how many of you will be going home with nothing? I'll leave you with that question. And also with a quote that says, it is possible to have happily ever after every day. But trust me, you have to be very intentional about it. Thank you, and it's back to you, the Toastmaster of today.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Joy. In fact, you blew me away with that speech. Thank you for taking us on a journey, an exhilarating journey of who you are, what you've been through. Thank you for bringing yourself to that space of vulnerability. Thank you so much. I totally enjoyed your speech. I will leave the rest to your exhilarating evaluator to do. Please, fellow Toastmasters and guests, let's share some love notes. Let's give it up for Toastmaster Joy Ekwuchi. Who is your guy? Hey, now only me, my guy. That was what your topic made me felt. I felt like singing that song. Thank you so much. Yes, right about now, we are moving to our third speaker for today. Our third speaker for today. This is the second time I'm coming across this name. I don't want to murder it. So I will choose the last name, Spiff, Toastmaster Spiff. And our evaluator is our VPE, our Vice President of Education, our timer for today's meeting, Toastmaster Ese Ogene Okirika. I would like you to share with us the purpose of Toastmaster speech. Toastmaster Ese.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. Today, Toastmaster Kaine Diete-Spiff will be giving a speech titled, "What's Your Stressometer?" It's part of, it's a level 3. Level 1 is the third project in level 1, and it's part of the presentation mastery pathway. The purpose of this speech is for her to practice using vocal variety or body language to enhance a speech. This would include things like her pace, her tone, pitch, and volume. She's allowed to present a speech on any topic, and we're just assessing her on her body language and vocal variety. Toastmaster Kaine, the speech is slated for 5 to 7 minutes, and I'm delighted to introduce her, giving us the speech, "What's Your Stressometer?" Thank you, and back to you, our Toastmaster of the Day.
I truly appreciate you, Toastmaster Ese, for that exhilarating way of this English, demystifying the rationale behind Toastmaster Spiff's speech. I can see her smiling already. Toastmaster Spiff, what's your stress? What's your stress, Toastmaster Spiff?
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Good evening, fellow Toastmaster and guests. My name, as has been mentioned, is Kaine Diete-Spiff, and I'll be giving a talk to us today on the topic, "What's your stressometer?" So my stressometer is actually my tool to measure my stress levels, and I'll be introducing us to how my stress level is measured. So if you imagine the lights, the traffic lights, red, amber, and green. Red meaning stop, amber, get ready, and green, go. So in this case, if we want to measure our stress levels, which is the meter I'm using today, I would say a red is a bad place to be in, or highly stressful place. Amber, just there, and then a green would show that you're really thriving or flourishing. Again, another measure I would suggest today is a scale of 0 to 10. 10 meaning you're thriving, you're flourishing. A 0 meaning you're down and out. And then in between that, an average of 5. So I would like to just pause and ask us, fellow Toastmasters, what is your stressometer right now? You can type in the chat box. You can just tell me, are you a red? Are you an amber? Are you a green? Or are you 5, 4, 7, 8, 9, or 10? What's your stressometer? Now, I'll just go into what do we think stress is? What is stress? We hear stress every day. I'm stressed, I'm stressed, I'm stressed. What exactly is stress? So stress is an abnormal reaction to a change, a situation of change. And there are many causes of stress. So again, I'll just want to remind us that most of the time, we think stress is a negative thing, but stress can also be positive, because stress actually propels us to exceed our perceived limitations. So it's a push for us to exceed our perceived limitations. But again, I said it's usually denoted in a negative phase situations. So what is stress again? It's an abnormal response to a particular situation. So it could cause mental, physical, or social imbalance, for example. So when our demands exceed our capacity to cope in life situations, then we can say that one is experiencing a stressful situation. Currently, I want to assume that we are all Nigerians, or we are in Nigeria currently. And I know that we are facing so many stressful factors. So I'll go to environmental factors. I'll talk about the economics, for example. I'll talk about our political landscape. I'll also talk about man-made or natural disasters. These are environmental causes of stress. And then life events. If one loses a loved one, it can also be classified as a stressor. Again, I'd like to just ask us at this time, what is your stressometer with respect to your environmental factors in Nigeria at the moment? So I don't want to talk about the political landscape yet. I want to talk about our economy. Over the past 4 months, we have been inundated, we have been besieged by this cankerworm of a cash crunch because of a CBN policy. I'm sure we don't know the origin of this CBN policy, but we are affected by the policy. And so many of us, we've all been cash strapped because of this change in Naira, denominations, and what have you. People have had to queue up in the bank just to get a meager 2,000 Naira. So for a while, you cannot imagine that I had just 100 Naira. And I felt like that 100 Naira was my gateway to heaven. It felt like 1 million. And I kept that 100 Naira note for 3 weeks. At a point, a cousin of mine asked me for transport. And I said, this is my 100 Naira. I don't want to release it because I never know when I will need it. Can you imagine what we have been reduced to as a nation? Again, people have had to queue up in banks. Like I said, the 2,000, the 1,000, sometimes you're giving some dirty ton 50 Naira notes because of a policy that we know nothing about. Fast forward to about 5 days ago, I had been devoid of cash for a while. And it was close of business. And I just thought to myself, for 3 weeks, I haven't had cash. How am I going to cope over the weekend? And a thought came to me, oh, there was someone who helped me out. I said, oh, but it was already close of business. What do I do? And the thought just vanished. I didn't think that she would be of any help. Then on Friday morning, I received an exhilarating SMS from this same person I thought about. And the message read thus: good morning, Dr. Spiff. How are you today? Please, do you need cash? Ha! Toastmasters, at this time, someone asking if you need cash. I quickly called her because I was in a meeting and I muted and called her in the background. I said, hello, ma, I need cash. And she said to me, how much? I was like, how much are you guys giving today at the bank? She said, just tell me how much you want. I will not tell you how much she offered to give me, but I can tell you that that money sailed me through the weekend, and I still have something left for maybe the next 2 weeks, because I'll just be taking a little out of it, a little at a time, until by some stroke of luck, we get around our issues. So we won't just talk about stress or our stressometer without talking about how can we relieve stress. So it was so an article that was written by Schwartz about Warren Buffett said that Warren Buffett had talked about 2 things that he does that helps him to relieve stress, and that's in relation to his hobbies. He talked about playing an instrument called the ukulele and also playing cards, and those were his hobbies. So outside of work, he liked those 2 things. So what are your hobbies? What do you do as a stress reliever? Now again, positive social connections. Oh, I had this lady who was my client, but she sent a message to me saying, oh, you need cash. What if I didn't know her? I may have still been thinking about how to get cash now. Physical activity, aerobics, dance, gardening. Yes, Jibike mentioned gardening. This is nature, and it helps us to relieve stress. So as I round up, I would say to us fellow Toastmasters, what is your stressometer and how do you manage your stress? I would say back to you, Toastmaster of the day, and thank you for the opportunity to give this speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster Spiff. You have no idea what some new Naira notes will do to any one of us. It will actually take us to cloud 9. Thank you for sharing that very exhilarating, educative, and expository, I must say, because I never knew that there's a thing to measure stress meter. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. That was quite an exhilarating speech. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, please let's give us some loud notes. Well done, Toastmasters Spiff, for that wonderful speech. Very well done. It is that time we move to the last segment of our meeting. This is the segment I love. This is where we are able to take things that will help us grow as Toastmasters, even as guests, if we put some of this into our lives as we go along. The evaluation segment. And the very person that will be handling this exhilarating session is the beautiful, exhilarating, delectable Toastmaster Joy Ekwuchi.
Thank you so much, the Toastmaster of the day. I'm looking for something white around me so I can lift up my white flag in surrender and give you the winner of the use of the word for today, because I was trying to compete, but I don't know if I can do this. All right, thank you so much for such an amazing coordination of the meeting so far. Without further ado, we're going to go straight into the evaluation segment, as you've already stated. First would be the table topics evaluation that will be done by Toastmaster Uche. Just to confirm, because I realized there was a mix up with that earlier. So is it Toastmaster? Okay, great. Toastmaster Uche, please come on to virtual lectern and tell us how our table topic speakers fared. Over to you.
Sorry,
Thank you so
apologies.
much,
We have not voted. Apologies, that was an omission.
Oh,
Just
okay.
A minute to vote.
All right,
please, the
fine.
polls are on your screen right now. Just 1 minute to vote, please. Kindly click and vote for the better table topic speaker.
Okay. Essie, am I host? Because I can see a different.
Yeah, co-host can vote. Yeah, a co-host.
Okay,
so
okay, just realized. No problem. That's fine.
Once we get up to half, please, more people can vote.
Okay, while we're at it, kindly click on the link and fill the form. Just oblige us, please. Everyone, there's a link in the chat box. Please click on it, fill the form, and we can have your honest feedback about our meetings. Thank you.
Okay, over to you, Toastmaster Uche, for your evaluation. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much for the opportunity to do this. I would be very quick because we have some things to talk about after this evaluation. The first person that spoke during the table topic session was Toastmaster Uwede, and the question was, what is the cheapest way to make you happy? I like the way he very quickly found a way to get to relate it to something that was in his personal life. Toastmaster, where you referenced something that happened in your personal life. You talked about your niece and how she came to your room and called you Uncle Uwede. I'm sure that a lot of people won't that you called yourself, or you said that you're Uncle Uwede today. Today we know that you are an uncle, and that was a great way for you to start your speech or to give us the content of your speech. One of the things I think that you could have done a little bit better was to put yourself together at the beginning. I found that even when you were called, you jumbled a couple of your words at the beginning, were a bit off color. Sometimes it's just good to use heuristics, repeat the question that was told you, or just find a way to maybe negate the topic, and that would be a good way for you to just start and find your fit. Eventually, in the end, you took us to a plateau and you gave us a time of reflection where you, after making the point and you repeated the statement that was asked you at the beginning, you cycled back to the beginning, and that is like a closed loop, and that's a good way to end your speech. To challenge yourself next time, I think you should arrange your video to be able to show more than just your head. All in all, I think your speech was a very good one, your table topic. The next person that spoke was Toastmaster Francis, and his question was, what is the experience or the most expensive way to make you happy? Toastmaster Francis is an experienced Toastmaster, and he found a way around it at the beginning. He took his time, he greeted us, he told us good evening, very calm, calculated. But we know that trick. You were finding a way to think about the topic. And that's very potent way for you to give yourself time to think about the topic. I like the way you found a way to talk about how you engage people, how difficult conversations are the things that make you happy. That's an awkward thing to make people happy, but eventually it caught our attention. One I think could have done better when you told us about your book. Toastmaster Francis, this is an opportunity for you to market your book. Tell us the book, tell us about the book very well. Tell us the name, the title, or something, so that next time we'll be able to, suppose we'll send you maybe DMs and want to buy it. All in all, I think that it was a really good speech. To challenge yourself, I think that you can try to vary your vocal at different times. I know you're very cool, but if you vary it at times, you would be able to catch our attention. But I liked your speech. The last person to speak was Toastmaster, I think it was Ekwuchi. I hope I pronounced that correctly. She was asked, if you were to make Nigerians happy today, what will you do? You would agree with me that Toastmaster Ekwuchi made us happy. She had not even planted the tree, but we already felt happy. I like the way she was very quick to reach her point, the point that if she gets appointed, she will plant a tree. And if she not just one tree, many trees for people to be able to pluck money from it. I like the way you went philosophical. It made us think, and it made us connect with what you're saying, and use the cash crunch that we have in the country now as a lever to deliver your speech. One of the things I think your speech was really good. One of the things I would just say is that if you plant trees, it will take at least 25 years if it's a mahogany tree before those leaves will start showing up. So it's not going to solve the problem today. However, it was a good speech. I really liked it. You spread happiness across the room. You talked about the topical issue in the country, and that was a very good way to give an extemporaneous speech. Thank you, and back to you, General Evaluator. Or rather, yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Table Topics Evaluator. Next would be the evaluator for speech 1, who is Toastmaster Tosin. Just to state that while we give our evaluations, we should try to keep it short and sharp so that we do not run out of time. Our trainer has taught us about what the importance of timeliness in our meetings, how important this is. So let's just use today to practice. All right, Toastmaster Tosin, please let us know how the speaker 1 fared. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator. Personally, I'm upset that I have to practice managing time while evaluating Toastmaster Jibike's speech, because there were so many beautiful things I would love to mention about it. Toastmaster Jibike, thank you so much for delivering that speech today. Thank you so much for taking that leap and starting your journey. I think the very first thing that was beautiful about your speech was your title. Even before you came on the podium, your title was already a talking point. We were all talking about how it was a tongue twister, how we were wondering what language your speech was going to be in. And so you had our interest already. That was fantastic. Well done. And I also love the fact that when you actually started delivering the speech, you didn't just assume that we would do our research and figure out what the title of your speech meant. You told us the meaning of that title, and it turned out to be something really beautiful. Happiness is a delicate flower. Thank you for sharing that message with us today. You went on to actually interact with your audience, and you're supposed to be a first timer, but that was beautiful stuff. I mean, it's something that even seasoned Toastmasters struggle to do sometimes. And the beauty of audience interaction is it ensures that your audience is engaged. It ensures that they are following you, that you haven't lost them at some point. But today we saw you tell us to indicate in the chat box what happiness meant to us. And I thought that was a very beautiful way to actually interact with your audience. You used the word of the day, showing us that you could think on your feet, that you could adapt, and you were flexible. I also loved your background, and it was interesting that you even went on to give us some detail about it later on, telling us about how it was a garden you started during the COVID period, and even use the opportunity to also inject some humor into your speech. Humor warms us up to you as a speaker. It makes us feel more comfortable. It makes your speech more memorable. I love the fact that you actually even used a personal jibe with your daughter to actually share that humor with us. That was beautiful. As regards areas for improvement, there weren't much to look forward to or to identify in your speech today, to be honest. And to be honest, even as a first timer, there's not much you could have done to take a wrong step, but you even showed us that you're actually quite an experienced speaker. But like I said, we always try to strive for improvement. So I would say there was a bit of a light reflection on a side of your face. So whenever speaking, you just want to make sure that you're properly aware of how the lighting affects you and how you look on camera, just to make sure that you are very visible. Also, I loved the pattern of your speech. It's a speech that required you just come to introduce yourself, and you could have come to just tell us about yourself. I'm not saying telling us about yourself would have been boring, but you actually used the opportunity to give us a beautiful speech about happiness, and you also used it to deliver a very wonderful objective. Thank you very much for introducing yourself to us today. Thank you for telling us about how you actually place a premium on happiness. And thank you, most importantly, for teaching me that my happiness is entirely in my hands. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you speak more often. I'll make it my mission to attend any meeting where I see you're speaking. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Jibike.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Tosin. That was so touching. I feel I can see some I see Toastmaster Jibike reaching out for her tissue to wipe her happy tears. Okay, straight ahead would go to the evaluator for Toastmaster Ekwuchi Joy's speech, who would be none other than Toastmaster Wedding. Over to you, Toastmaster Wedding.
Okay, good evening once again, Toastmasters and guests. Toastmaster Ekwuchi James, like I said, they're a veteran speaker. I would say that you definitely met the requirements of the project to introduce yourself to the club and also give a speech following the basic speech structure. So now we know that you're Ekwuchi James, one of the bright ones who studied in Port Harcourt, the UK, and you started speaking to stacks of chairs even when you were a little child, showing that you had speaking potentials even from childhood. So I'll start by saying some of the things you did well. First, I loved how you mystified your introductions through the choice of topic. So when I first heard who's your guy, so the Toastmaster of the day had already said what will come to your mind. So I was like, how would you tie this to an introduction? But I loved how you did that. What it did for me, and I believe for so many people on the call, is that it created some level of suspense and anticipation, looking out to hear what you would say. And what that does is that before you start speaking, you've already had the attention of your audience. You've already grabbed the attention of your audience. Secondly, I loved how you made use of storytelling, excellent use of storytelling. As Toastmasters, we cannot overemphasize the importance of including stories to our speech. What it does is that it ensures our audience and it makes for people that are listening to the speech to be part of your speech. So I think that you did very well with your storytelling. It helped you to transition from one part of the speech to the other. So what are some of the recommendations I think you could have done to improve on the speech? Firstly, I would say it was almost a flawless speech, but one of the things I noticed was the camera angle was not so right. At some point, it felt like you were looking down. What I would advise is that you try to get a tripod. We know that virtual is like the new normal. So as a Toastmaster, every Toastmaster should have a tripod in their Toastmaster kit, because what it does is that it gives you the ability to do the speech while standing. It will give you the opportunity to give a speech while standing, and you can make use of your audience. So I think that you should have that to your Toastmasters kit. In closing, I would say some additional commendations for you. I love your use of body language and vocal varieties. Your hand gesture was on point. I loved how you used humor, and I would applaud you for using the word of the day. It showed that you were present in mind. So in summary, my time is up. In summary, I love how you mystified your introductions through the topic. I loved how you use storytelling. I recommend that you get a tripod to improve on your speaking, virtual speaking. Then I love your use of body language. Thank you, and over to you, the general evaluator.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Wede. As the person also being evaluated, I'd like to point out two things. Number one, when you say when I was a child, I stacked chairs and spoke to them in some kind of crowds, they might think I was not a normal child, but I promise you, I was a very normal child. Secondly, Toastmaster Wede has put it out there that I need a tripod. So if the Lord lays it in your hearts to do the needful, please, I will place my account number in the chat box, and I suggest to help my Toastmaster journey. He has mentioned I'm a veteran, so you cannot allow these veterans' dreams to die. So please sow into my life a tripod. Okay, that was on the lighter note. I will call on the last evaluator, who is Toastmaster Ese Ogenokereka, to tell us a little bit about whose speech now? Toastmaster Kaine's speech. Yes, Toastmaster Kaine's speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Ese.
Thank you. Please confirm you can hear me. Hello?
Yes, we can.
Oh, excellent. Well done, Toastmaster Kaine, on delivering a brilliant speech. I loved the fact that you stood to deliver this speech, because it really helps in one of your speech purposes, which was to improve on your vocal variety and body language. So standing to deliver gave us more opportunity to see how you use your body language. I love your vocal variety. For example, when you said, what do we think is our stressometer? In addition, when you had a tone that says, but stress can also be positive. I loved how you used your body when you gesture that it is a push for us to exceed our perceived limitations. In addition, I also loved your tone when you said the change in Naira, people have had to queue up in the bank. Brilliant use of vocal variety, and that absolutely met the purpose of this project. In addition, I also love the vocal variety when you read the message that says, please, do you need cash? Toastmasters, I was even in a meeting. That was really well done and definitely sounded like a monologue we could hear you deliver. Well done. I love also in this speech that you gave us tips on how to manage our stressometer, the focus on exploring our hobbies and the power of social network and connectivity. I would, however, suggest that in making this speech even more better, I'd like to see you modulate your tone. For example, when it comes to things like when you said, when our demands exceed our capacity to cope. For example, life events, if one loses a loved one. Imagine if you had infused a more sober tone when talking about something as sensitive as loss by saying, if one loses a loved one. I think that would have help us connect better with the speech. Generally, I loved that you used the word of the day. I love that you stood to deliver your speech because it allowed us see your body range of motions. I loved your vocal variety. My suggestions to improve this speech or your future deliveries would be: one, confirming the view and camera angles, the light reflections while speaking, the background, even if it's suited for the meeting, was distracting while delivering the speech. So confirming that would really help in us enjoying the speech. I love that you used a story, and not just any story, something that we could all relate with and got us, your audience, entertained and curious. Well done on telling us about how to manage our stressometer. Thank you for also beautifully standing to deliver your speech and incorporating vocal variety. You have met the objective of this speech, and I look forward to future presentations. Thank you, and back to you, our general evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ese. Thank you for that. I'd just like to point out that there are some business people in our midst are marketing their products in the chat box. I don't know if this is allowed, Toastmaster Ese, and we will talk about that later. All right, straight ahead, we'll go to Brahman's group, and that will be taken by our very own Toastmaster Intia. Toastmaster Intia, please come on the virtual lectern and tell us how we did today.
So good evening. Yeah.
Okay.
Confirm you can hear me clearly?
Yes, we can.
Right. So I'll do the first part of my assignment today, which is to note great use of grammar and also note not so great use of grammar. Today we had the thrill of listening to a plethora of speakers, brilliant speeches all around the park. And there were things that were really sweet to hear. There were things that came through like happiness is like a delicate flower, cannot manage things cannot manage your life. Pet peeve is one I particularly liked. When things go bad, don't go with them. You can grow your own happiness, a trail of exhilaration, inundated, besieged by the Nigerian situation. Those are extremely powerful phrases that sort of stuck and passed the message very strongly. I'd like to mention a few not so powerful phrases that we used today. We picked up something like felt so better. I think it's felt better. I don't think the so belongs there. There was another bit about between 2 to 8. It's between 2 and 8. Poor and I get to listen. And I think, first of all, poor might not be the best way to express it, not wrong grammatically, but if someone is expressing to you poor, that's the thing. But and I get to listen and I get to listen. Much more better, more better. Those are two comparative forms, and you cannot use two comparatives in one sentence. So you say express vulnerable conversations. So not exactly grammatically wrong, but not the best use of those three words, if you like, in combination. That exhilarating responses. So with that exhilaration would now have to be singular. So it'll be that exhilarating response. Most happiest, again, two comparative forms, so not used together. So it will be happiest. So made me felt. So when you go made me, you have to come back into present tense. So you would past tense will be out of place there. But all across patch, really, really good. And I thought this was really, really a great way to sort of go through speech delivery across the patch. Great, good phrases all around the park. Regarding the use of the word of the day, I think that without a doubt just goes to Toastmaster of the day. Because again, she's got the most time on the mic, most time on the lectern. So Ekwuchi, too bad. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much. I already considered because I knew she was going to take that one. And during the grammarian report, it kind of felt like I was sitting in an English class taken by a professor. The glasses kind of like fit into the character too. All right, next we'll go to the counter report that will be done by our very own Toastmaster Biodun. Professor Biodun, please give us the counter report in a short time. Over to you.
Okay. Thank you, the General Evaluator. A lot of people use filler words. Dr. Kaine is the chief of them all. She used so many times. Uche used the filler word and twice. Joy repeated the various words twice. Jibike used and remember. She kept on saying, I remember, like 3 times. I think as a filler word. TMSA also used, I counted like 5 filler words. TM Epunse, she used as a filler word. And TM Tari used simile and like 3 times. I counted 3 filler words for her. And where they use about 6 filler words. So better, and so on and so forth. So I have very short time, so I'll just end it there. It's just for us to be conscious. I know that speaking is not very easy, but just for us to be conscious of when we are speaking and then not to use those filler words. Thank you. I'm back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much. And I can assure you that Toastmaster Kaine will be waiting at the gates for you for this that you have given.
My sister,
okay, last but not the least on this list would be the timer, who is Toastmaster Esogene. Please tell us how we did as regards the timing. Over to you.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, General Evaluator, and good evening, everyone. As it pertains to timing for the table topic session, Toastmaster Wede used 2 minutes 11 seconds. Toastmaster Francis 1 minute 48 seconds. Toastmaster Atta 1 minute 20 seconds. For the training session, DTM David used 18 minutes 12 seconds. During the manual speech session, Toastmaster Jibike used 6 minutes 9 seconds. Toastmaster Ekwuchi used 6 minutes 16 seconds. Toastmaster Kaine used 7 minutes 34 seconds. While for the evaluation sessions, for table topics evaluation, Toastmaster Uche used 3 minutes 54 seconds. Toastmaster Tosin for speech evaluation used 2 minutes 58 seconds. Toastmaster Wede used 3 minutes 26 seconds, while Toastmaster Essay for evaluation used 2 minutes 31 seconds. For the grammarian report, Toastmaster Ntia used 2 minutes 23 seconds. For the accountant report, Toastmaster Biodun used 2 minutes 25 seconds. And for the timing report, Toastmaster Essay has used 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute 55 seconds. Thank you. And back to you, our GE.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Essay. It doesn't get more impeccable than that. Maybe we need to make this a paid job, this timing thing, because you do it so well. Thank you so much. So I'll go straight to the general evaluation. I do not have so much time, and we need to do as we preach as regards to timing. I'll start by saying that this has been an amazing meeting. The meeting room was open early at about 3:50. People joined in. It was very interactive. Toastmaster Essay made sure that it was interactive enough. At 4 o'clock, TMOD was on the call. Everyone walked into or joined into a happy audience. At the start of the meeting, we're about 17 already, which I think was very good. Good turnouts today. Well done for that. Meeting started right on time. From the beginning, there was so much organization. Everybody knew what they were supposed to do. It was just amazing. Just little feedback that I think we can incorporate to do better next time. When it was time to introduce who was supposed to be Toastmaster, Table Topics Master and Evaluator, I think there was a bit of miscommunication there. Going forward, I feel we need to do better with pre-planning and questions so everyone knows what they're supposed to do per time. Also, if in a situation where the network isn't really doing good, it's advised to turn off the camera. Probably it would help with audio. Outside of that, I think we've done super well today. I cannot evaluate every role player individually, but I'd just love to say that the table topic segment was scintillating, succinct, beautiful. I love the questions. I love how Essay jumped into action immediately. Damage control, well done. You should get an award for that. I also love how all the role players came here and did their thing. All the speakers were amazing. This meeting understood the assignment. Am I leaving here happier than I came? Yes, I am. I'm exhilarated. I'm happy. I'm entering this week so happy, so excited. I don't think anyone can look for my trouble. I'm not so sure, but let's see. I'm looking forward to having an amazing week. And I also would love to say that going forward, please, we should try to have more people join the meeting. Share the link on your status. Share the link as much as possible. I know personally I invited 10 people to this meeting. I don't know how many of them came, but it also helps with turnout as well. Thank you so much. We're doing well with time. And at this point, I would love to hand control back to the Toastmaster of the day to continue with the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our general evaluator, for those very succinct evaluation. We hope to incorporate those moving forward. I have 30 minutes to speak. I was hoping I have like 20 minutes to speak. Yes. All right. Thank you to your team for all that you've just done. We sincerely appreciate each and every one of you. Well done. It always feels like being in cloud 9, serving as your Toastmaster of the day. And it's been an exhilarating meeting. I have enjoyed myself, and I hope everyone on the call has totally enjoyed themselves, from the speeches from the table topics to the speeches. It has been an exhilarating one. You all kept us on cloud 9. And like Daniel Chris puts it, I think she puts it better. At the beginning of this meeting, I was on cloud 9. For now, I wouldn't say I'm still there. It's just like being in cloud 10. Cloud 9 is now old news. Thank you so much, Pecten Toastmasters Club, for this opportunity. And it's back to you, Madam President, Mama Ejima, Toastmaster Tare.
Toastmaster Josephine, I've laughed and laughed here. Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. Can we please all come off mute and please put our hands together for our delectable Toastmaster of the Day? I think she did an awesome job. I don't know about you. She has used the word exhilarating. That I will never forget that word in my life. Well done, Toastmaster Josephine. Always a pleasure having you here. And thank you to all our role players today. Thank you for making out time to do this for us. I'm grateful to everyone who joined here, especially those who joined for the first time. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. I would have loved to hear your voices, but there is a link on the chat box. Please click on the link and we will get back to you as soon as possible. So thank you to everyone who made it to today's meeting. Special thanks go to our 3 past presidents who are present here today. I don't think we've had a meeting in a long while where 3 of them were present, right? We haven't. So Toastmaster Ntia, thank you. It was so refreshing to hear your voice again. It's been a while. Toastmaster Polusho as well. Good to see you here. And our immediate past president, Toastmaster Uche, glad to have you here. 3 of you should please come again next time we have a meeting. In fact, be present at every meeting. We would love to glean from your wealth of experience and of course your knowledge. Thank you again. Thank you, everyone. We will look at the feedback forms and we will chew on what you have said to us and we would incorporate it into our meetings going forward. It's been such a pleasure being in today's meeting. I am exhilarated. I hope I put it in the right context. I feel exhilarated. Thank you so much for coming. I would like to read the result of the poll we took earlier. Okay, so the poll is here. We had 3 people who spoke during the table topic session. And we had Toastmaster Wede, Toastmaster Francis, and Toastmaster Ekunse. I hope I got that right. And the winner of our table topic session today goes to, drum roll, the one who wants to plant money trees, Toastmaster Ekunse. Please put your hands together for her. Who doesn't love money, right? In fact, you gave us what we needed. Thank you so much, everyone. Special thanks also to our DTMDD, so distinguished Toastmaster David Dokun. Thank you so much for stirring our thoughts. You brought the way you delivered that training. We actually answered the question really ourselves. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate you for making our time to come train us today. And our next meeting will be in the month of April, the first Tuesday of April. Esther, please, what date is that again?
It's the 4th
of April.
Yes.
Our next meeting will be on the 4th of April, Tuesday, 4th of April. Let's make it a date again. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe and see you during the next meeting. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
We can come off mute now and say hello to each other, but meeting's officially over though. Yeah. Thank you.
See you at the contest.
Toastmaster Josephine, awesome.
See you at the contest.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yes. The contest is on Sunday. Is that 3 p.m.? Oh my God.
Bombastic side eye.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, looking at us.
You know, I'm respecting people's time. People have talked about time management, so I'm respecting people's time.
We still have 2 minutes
on Sunday.
left.
Toastmaster Esther and Toastmaster Ekwuchi are representing Pecten. We need to make noise in that place. We need to make noise. Whoop, whoop, please, come all out.
Well done, TM Jibike and everyone.
Toastmaster Jibike, good to see you.
It's 4 p.m. or not 3 p.m.
4 p.m.
I'm sorry, it's 4 p.m.
So Esther, why don't you say well done to Toastmaster Joy that also did her icebreaker?
It's in order.
Don't be an agbaye.
I feel like a big baby right now.
But congratulations, I like you are my guy based on your icebreaker.
Really my guy.
Oh my God. At this point, I think